Bulletcast for life.
This is X-Pac and you're listening to the Bulletcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Bulletcast. We're about the number 42 sports recreational podcast, but yet again, we are the only sports recreational podcast that is simply just too sweet. I got Brandon here. How's it going there, guy?
It's okay. I forgot my wallet on the drive over here. That's why I was a little later. And then we're recording at Chabot, and apparently this is the first week back, so everybody's at school. So there was a harder place to park.
I understand.
I forgot a hat. I'm forgetting something else.
What else are you forgetting?
I mean, it's not that I forgot. It's just it's not mine anymore.
Oh. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Bulletcast champion once again. Winning championships in life, I feel like I'm up there with like LeBron, KD, MJ, Curry, Manning, Brady. I guess this is what it feels like when they win a NBA championship or a Super Bowl, you know? Would you say that's about right?
I said this last time.
You look so distraught.
You never forget your first. You might be having, a good time right now with your current person, but your first was always the funnest.
That's true. He was the first champ. He was the guy. You never forget your first, ladies and gentlemen.
And I have some qualms about what happened at SummerSlam, because there was a couple things that I could have definitely been champion right now, because I think you only beat me by like one.
I did, yeah. It was only one.
So, I mean, we can get into it a little later, because there's one finish that really pissed me off. It was on Smackdown.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's start it off with Outside of the Ring. It was announced that Alexa Bliss will face WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus at Evolution, the all-women's pay-per-view happening in October. So this was announced at TakeOver. They had the graphic. Alexa didn't have the championship, but then they talked about it on SummerSlam, and she had the championship, so it's kind of like, which one was it going to be? Spoiler alert. But, thoughts on Bliss versus Stratus?
I mean, I guess it should be fun. Alexa Bliss, I've said this, I love her, but she's not the greatest wrestler in the world. Trish Stratus was a great wrestler. I don't know if she still has it.
She looked okay at the Rumble.
I'm not expecting a 5-star classic, but it'll be fun to see Stratus back in the ring. And Bliss is a good heel for her to go and bump around and have Trish to, hit all the big moves we cheer for her.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see these two generations collide. All right, next up, AJ Lee.
She should have faced Mandy Rose, because then it would have been like a time warp.
Oh, my God. AJ Lee, so Vince McMahon personally reached out to AJ about Evolution. Will she accept the offer? Will she decline? We don't know.
I hope AJ's there. AJ, my favorite women's wrestler of all time.
I thought it was Becky Lynch.
I said of all time. Becky Lynch is my favorite right now.
Oh, okay.
But Becky better be there. AJ better be there. And I think it all depends on if she still has some hard feelings towards the company, as they fired her husband on their wedding day, technically, and all the other stuff that went down, suing him, and now his friendship with Cole Cabana's been destroyed. Even that's little I don't know whose fault that is at the moment. We'll let the court decide.
Exactly. AJ Lee. I mean, she was only there for a short amount of time, but she did have an impact. I've said on this podcast that line where she said, "None of you can lace up my Chuck Taylors," or that talent isn't sexually transmitted. I thought, oh my God, the pipe bombs just like her husband. It's amazing, I love AJ Lee. I would love to see her back in the WWE ring. If it's just for a one-off, it's a win in my book. All right, so Eric Rowan, he is injured. He's out for, I think, 4 to 6 months, or maybe even longer than that, because of a shoulder injury.
Bicep.
It's
not the same thing. Shoulders here, biceps here.
I read shoulder. I didn't go into detail because we all know I don't really care about Eric Rowan.
Wow.
But, yeah, I know, right? So apparently he suffered this at SummerSlam and not on Smackdown. Get well soon. I guess that's all I can say for him. Maybe Luke Harper gets a singles push after this. I would hope so.
Hopefully, but we've been wishing that for a long time after they broke up with the Wyatt family. And obviously that's the reason why New Day's our champion right now.
Shout out New Day. Big spoiler alert. Oh, yeah. I should have brought the Bootios box. Oh, I didn't even think about it. Oh, my God. All right, Vince McMahon was going to offer advice for All In. So I was listening to Chris Jericho's latest podcast. He had the Bucks and Cody on, and Jericho said he texted Vince about All In, and then Vince said, "Oh, they should have called me. I could have gave them some advice. You never want to promote during that time in the fall. You can't have tickets go on sale on a Sunday." So it sounds like Vince was gonna
But what happened? They sold out in a half hour. So I think they
less
did a
than
good
that.
job.
I mean, yeah, no, they went against everything people told them not to do, and they've made it work. So, congratulations to those guys. It's just interesting to think that Vince McMahon, the guy who we think is all trying to bury everybody in wrestling, is going to help these guys out or give them some advice in a way. Like that's pretty interesting to me. To me. Any thoughts on this?
No, I mean Vince is the all-knowing being of professional wrestling, apparently.
It's the greatest promoter of all time.
But I mean, it would have been cool if he did reach out. It's not exactly like ROH and New Japan taking their arena from them, so it's just kind of like not to like belittle it or anything. It's like a nice little side thing that's going on in Vince's eyes. Even though this is, probably the biggest story of the year thus far. Probably,
absolutely.
Probably of the entire year. I don't know what can. I mean, God forbid Vince McMahon dying. I think that's the only thing that could probably make this
Jesus.
not the biggest story of the year.
Oh my God.
I'm just being honest right now.
Okay. All right. So Rey Mysterio is expected to return to WWE within the next month. They've been having discussions with Rey. He's trying to work out a contract. He does have some dates coming up that he's going to work All In. So they've been trying to figure out his schedule there. They want him full time. He wants to work a part-time schedule. I mean, really, just give Rey what he wants. Let him be in a meaningful feud. Work TVs only. Maybe a house show here or there. Because he's what, a pre-order bonus in the next WWE video game. So yeah, work out a nice deal. Any comments, concerns, questions?
No, this has kind of been in the works for a long time. He's been canceling dates. He will still be at All In.
He will. That's the big one.
Yeah, I mean,
All right, Jason Jordan. He worked this past Tuesday backstage at Smackdown as a producer. He produced the Naomi Peyton Royce match. Jason, he's learning that role just in case he can't come back to compete in the ring. His neck did not heal the way it was supposed to, or the way doctors thought it would. So he's learning the ropes backstage in case he can't step into the ring.
yeah, Matt Hardy's also doing a kind of a shadow producer or agent role. Jason Jordan, not the most, I don't know, decorated wrestler like Matt Hardy is. So, I mean, him producing the women's match, I guess, is kind of like the lowest, maybe the lowest tier you can get, like a non-title mid-card SmackDown match.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a nice little role. Maybe if he is unfortunately can't wrestle ever again, maybe he goes down to NXT and he can kind of learn kind of full time, and he can do that. And I mean, I don't know exactly how how everything backstage with the producers happened, but unfortunately, I thought they had a good thing going with them early on in the year, and it's a shame that he's having to be backstage at the moment.
Yeah. Get well soon, Kurt Angle's son. All right, WWE Hall of Famer Bill Goldberg. He's been in the news recently. I saw this on TMZ yesterday. So tweets were sent out from his Twitter account to our Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump, another WWE Hall of Famer. The tweets were threatening Trump, saying that he's going to kick his butt, get to the ring with him, saying that Trump said derogatory things about his wife. And then Goldberg comes out and says that his account was hacked, and he's in talks with the Secret Service to fix this matter, because you can't threaten the president.
That you cannot do.
You cannot do that.
Shout out Stone Cold, who was spotted at Denny's, and someone thought that he was Goldberg.
Yes, I heard he was not too happy about that.
I wouldn't be happy about that either, because Stone Cold's a bigger star than Bill Goldberg.
Shout out Bill Goldberg.
Let's be honest.
Shout out Stone Cold, Steve Weisers. Yeah, so what are your thoughts on Goldberg and the Donald?
Man,
It's just there. Just TMZ gossip.
If I think it'd be a much more interesting story if he wasn't hacked and he was just talking all this trash to Mr. President. I think that'd be a fun little story.
Yes, a 51-year-old man, and then like a 75-year-old man going at it. That'd be nice. That'd be amazing to see.
WrestleMania 37.
Oh,
whenever his time is up. Well, he's going to get reelected, right?
I don't know about
We're just... Next topic.
Yes, next topic, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, Dolph Ziggler turns down a new deal with WWE, a new contract. They had some talks with him before SummerSlam. They offered him, I don't know the exact, I don't know what the exact deal was, but apparently he turned it down, and some are saying that's what led to him losing the Intercontinental Championship on Sunday.
Possibly, I think that even though I didn't pick Seth Rollins to win, I understand why they did. But Dolph Ziggler does do a lot of other things. He likes being a comedian, so maybe he wants to kind of maybe go the John Morrison route, and maybe he can do indie wrestling, but then also he can do other things on the side where maybe he can be an actor, he can be a comedian, he can do all those other things. And wrestling is kind of like his fallback plan, where he always knows he can go back there and he can make some money on the indie scene.
Absolutely. I don't know exactly what Dolph is going to do. If he went on the Indies and APW were to get him, I'd be at that show. I'd be first in line, obviously. But Dolph on the big stage, he's had some highs, some really high highs, and he's had some very, very low lows. So, I don't know what Dolph's going to do. Maybe he wants to go tour as a comedian, go to, what was it, like the Laugh Factory? Is that a thing? Or Caroline's in New York? I don't know, but we're going to see what happens with the whole Dolph Ziggler and WWE contract situation. All right, and last on the outside of the ring list, Bullet Club vows to stick together. Yes, Cody, the Bucks, Kenny, Marty, and Hangman Page, no matter what, they're sticking together. If one goes to WWE, then I guess they all do, or they stay on the Indies, or they stay with the whole Ring of Honor, New Japan system. So I think that's nice, You got to stick together, guys.
That's nice in theory.
In theory, yes.
Until WWE offers Kenny, $2 million, and the Bucks, $1.5 million, and they lowball Marty and Hangman, or don't even offer them anything, and they're like, "Oh, sorry guys, this is more money than I'm ever gonna make. I'm gonna go take the money, and it's my dream to be in WWE, and take less time and be with my kids and not having to travel to Japan every month."
Yeah.
I don't believe that. As much as I love the Bullet Club,
I
don't believe it.
If like every single one of those guys I just mentioned go to WWE, Ring of Honor and New Japan, they're gonna hit a slump. To be honest with you, they are.
I feel like every single person in that list you just said probably will eventually end up in WWE. I think probably the least person is probably Marty Scurll. As much as I love Marty, I love Marty. I mean, I think he can kind of be the leader in like an NXT. He could be like an NXT champion, kind of like maybe what Adam Cole is right now. But Hangman Page, I think WWE would love Hangman Page. He had a great G1. He has the size. He has the look. We all know what the Young Bucks can do. I just feel like the Young Bucks would be so... I don't think Vince understands what the Young Bucks is. I don't think he would get it, and he would just waste it away. Kenny, it's really hard to mess up Kenny, but they might find a way to do it.
What about Cody?
Cody is Cody.
Cody, been there, done that. You can go back. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what all those guys would really do in that situation. All right, this day in wrestling, absolutely nothing.
That's a lie. There's a SummerSlam that happened on this date. I looked it up, and there was nothing, no match that stuck out to me. But there was a SummerSlam on this date.
What day? Which SummerSlam?
In the mid-'90s. I'll look it up right now.
In the mid-'90s.
Yes. If I can get some service in here.
If you can get some service in here.
Which is very hard to do.
We're talking like 95?
Maybe. I don't know.
Is it 95?
Let's see. What's today? Today is the 23rd.
If I'm right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna be
pretty sure there's something going on the 23rd. Maybe. I don't even know.
I'm gonna be a big baller.
Oh, SummerSlam 2009. Boom. I was a little off by a decade.
SummerSlam was that?
SummerSlam 2009, headlined by Jeff Hardy and CM Punk in a tables, ladders, and chairs match.
Oh my God! How could I forget?
Oh, apparently there was something that happened on this day.
How could I forget that? Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk, SummerSlam 2009.
And Punk... Team WWE versus Team Nexus. Well, that's the next year. Want Wikipedia line the entire thing and just making one whatever. Anyways,
that was the World Heavyweight Championship TLC match between Hardy and Punk. This was when Jeff Hardy was trying to climb to the mountaintop and become a champion again, and CM Punk.
And SummerSlam 2015, which was the Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, and the whole
on this day
they both sit up and they laugh at each other hilariously. So, boom, there was some stuff.
Cultaholic, you guys really failed me, guys. Yeah, so that was the the feud where the straight edge superstar going up against the guy who has had his problems with substance abuse. SummerSlam 2015, you Lesnar and Taker. Then you also had Seth Rollins becoming a dual champion. You had was it Jon Stewart interrupting, costing John Cena the World Heavyweight and his United States Championship. So I mean, there you go. Shout out, Wikipedia, Cultaholic. I love you guys, but you guys failed me today. I am not pleased. Not pleased at all, one bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the fan mail segment. One of my favorite segments on the podcast that we do.
We still have fan mail?
We still have fan mail. All right, so shout out Paul for keep giving us fan mail.
Shout out Paul.
He was on the incident analysis for SummerSlam. So Paul Playley, I got his name right. I found out how to pronounce it. All right, so will there ever be another Black World Champion in our lifetime?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes.
I would hope so, yeah. And Big E. I mean, there you go. Look, the idea of a world championship in professional wrestling has been around since like the early 1900s, probably even longer before that.
Besides, what's considered a world champion? Did he say WWE champion?
He said world champion.
Well, ROH had Jay Lethal.
Oh,
that's a black champion.
Okay, like when we think of like a world championship, we like the top. We're talking like WWE the world heavyweight title there.
Well, you didn't specify, so I'm gonna say Jay Lethal's been a world champion. I mean, has Moose wasn't TNA champion? I don't think he was.
Just calling it a world title doesn't make it a world title,
But
I believe
Roman Reigns isn't the master of the universe.
Nobody's talking about Roman Reigns.
Well, you just said just because it says world championship doesn't mean it's a world championship. But then if you're a universal champion, he's not the champion of the universe.
Look, WWE, the WWE Championship, it's the top title in the game. That's a world championship. It's just that simple. Back to the point of this. We've only had 5 world champions that have been African American: Bobo Brazil, Ron Simmons, Booker T, Mark Henry, The Rock.
Half The Rock.
Half of Dwayne Johnson. I mean, Big E, like, the guy's big, he's athletic, he's charismatic. Put the title on him. They should have put the title on Kofi like 10 years ago when he had that feud with Orton. I mean, we have people. I mean, Apollo Crews, he looks amazing. Build him up. Throw him on SmackDown, build him up. It's
but he's short.
Oh my God, it doesn't matter. How tall is Rey Mysterio? Like 5'7"? Come on.
He's like 5'6".
Oh, okay. Look, we're so far past that. Look, I mean, Apollo Crews, he looks amazing. He looks like a champion. Like I said, throw him on SmackDown. It's the land of opportunity. Build him up. He could be a nice white meat babyface going up against a heel Miz for the WWE Championship. All you have to do is give somebody the right story, build him up, and then we can see where it goes from there. It's that simple, guys. All right, next.
Keith Lee, WWE Champion. Next 5 years.
Keith Lee. All right, next up, Baby Huey. What would you tell someone that is not a wrestling fan? What do you say to try and convince them to become one?
I mean, it's very hard to convince somebody to watch. So my girl, Katie Nolan, she has her sports podcast, which is aproposly named Sports, with a question mark.
All right.
And she went to SummerSlam, and her whole podcast was her talking about the experience and all that other good fun stuff. To be honest, it was a little, annoying and embarrassing because she just doesn't understand it, which, kudos to her. I mean, she went in with an open mind. She loves my girl Becky Lynch. She loves Nakamura, so, we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like the triple, she was very confused with the triple threat match. She was thinking you had to pin both of them, but then you only pin one of them, so then you have to win. But then you don't just pin the other person. But there's a lot of rules in wrestling that we take for granted that are really dumb and stupid that we just kind of go along with, and then people question everything.
Yeah, I guess what Huey was getting at, I guess what match would you show somebody to?
I'm not a big fan of that either.
I
mean, if you don't like wrestling, you can maybe try to get them to like it. But if you showed, I don't know if you're just gonna plop them in and say watch Undertaker, Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, and they don't understand it. I mean, sometimes I watch wrestling with my aunt and uncle sometimes, and every single time my uncle is just being an a-hole about it and just making fun of it. I'm like, okay, just shut up, just let me watch it.
I think what you do, just show them Lesnar, Goldberg from last year's WrestleMania. It was a car wreck. Show them something quick and simple like that. To keep their attention span for 5 to 6 minutes. Because Taker and Michaels, it's a 40-minute match.
If I was to pick one match, I think it's not gonna. As much as I would love to show them a New Japan match, it can be very exhausting maybe like a G1 match. I think a G1 match keeps it under 30 minutes. It could be very exciting. You have all the different stuff to pick from this one. I mean, if we're going to go WWE, I think maybe from this era, maybe I would go. It is kind of a long match as well, but I think CM Punk and John Cena, just kind of the whole atmosphere.
Oh,
it's more
yeah.
the atmosphere than the actual match, even though the match is quite good. I mean, I'd probably show them the entrances, maybe fast forward the first 15 minutes and then watch the end.
Yeah, that's probably another safe bet also. All right, Paul Playley again. Who should be the first women's tag team champions?
There should not be a women's tag team championship. There are way too many championships in WWE. We need to get rid of championships, not add to them.
First of all, Paul, there were women's champions, tag team champions in WWF back in the day. I guess if they were to do it, Sasha and Bailey. I don't know, or you know what? Push Absolution or the Riot Squad. I don't know.
The Iconics.
Yes, push the Iconics. Shout out Corey Graves taking a dig at Dave Meltzer during the Iconics segment. Good stuff. Yeah, man. I don't know. Push one of, not somebody that's already established. Like you have Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. You have Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan, and then you have Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. Choose out of that pairing of girls, and if you were to have WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, choose out of those guys. All right, the last one is from Hootie Who 420 on Instagram.
Hootie Who?
Hootie Who? Yes. All right, if you could join any stable or faction active today, which one and why? Which one and why?
I mean, let me guess. You're going to pick the Bullet Club.
No. Undisputed Era.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go Undisputed Era because like everybody's gonna say Bullet Club. That's like the obvious answer. Undisputed Era. I mean, I don't know. There's something. It's like when the NWO first started and it was like cool and fresh. There's something about the way Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong like kind of just walk to the ring, and then Adam Cole oozes charisma. Throw Bobby Fish in the mix. It's something awesome to watch, man. So I'd have to go with the UE.
SCU.
Hey, there you go, man.
Maybe I'll start my own little faction. It'll be NCU, and we can work together as the as the CU. But it's kind of like the NWO Black and White. We got SCU and NCU.
You're hilarious. I was at a bar last night. I was just shouting SCU. Shout out Daniels, Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky. All right, let's get into the Raw recap. So, number 6, Kurt Angle denies Brock Lesnar his rematch for the Universal Championship. Paul Heyman shows up on Raw, discusses that his client should get a rematch, and Angle says he's not going to get one. And then he said, "Forget about it." I popped for that. I was like, "Oh, kind of the Kurt Angle of old, something interesting." So, what did you think of it?
It was all right.
It's all right.
I thought Angle looked a little like kind of dumb, which is he tends to do that sometimes. Just he was like so perplexed of why Brock Lesnar would want a rematch against Roman Reigns for the championship. But I think it was nice to kind of Kurt Angle to draw the line and be like, no, you're not going to have it now. Even though, like, why wouldn't he give it to him now? Because everybody else kind of gets it now. Why are you going to play favorite just because he hasn't actually defended the championship? When technically that's your problem by not getting him to defend the championship because he's under your reign. And anyways, I don't know when we're going to see this match again. I think probably the Cormier match is going to probably be like in January at the earliest. So maybe we get it maybe within the next couple months if we are going to get it all. Maybe we get a Survivor Series. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it like this, Lesnar, he can take some time off or whatever. Probably, I miss the days when Lesnar's like his music would just hit and be like, oh, business just picked up, Probably just have that happen whenever he wants his rematch. Like you said, let the Cormier thing play out, and because being realistic, Brock and Roman, that's most likely going to happen again. Because I mean, Roman didn't really beat him clean. Brock can say Braun was a distraction. I don't know if he would, but Braun he was a distraction, so it wasn't technically really a clean win, but
he beat him.
He beat him. He did, yes. All right, Dean Ambrose, his first match back on Monday Night Raw. He defeats Dolph Ziggler. Great match. pop up into the Dirty Deeds. I was like, oh, hey, that's innovative. Dean wrestling, kind of a different style. Get chain wrestling a little bit, getting a little technical. I was like, okay, Dean. I enjoyed it.
It was a good match. Still have not heard from Dean Ambrose. Probably we're going to hear, maybe not. I mean, are we going to get like Shield Dean Ambrose, or with this Dean Ambrose that we saw wrestle Dolph Ziggler, is this a different Dean Ambrose?
I don't know, man. There's a lot of theories going around, and one of them is the vest that Dean Ambrose had at SummerSlam, how it was kind of the zipper was barely on. That there's a theory going around that that's the friendship of Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins barely hanging on by a thread. But then, I don't know.
What?
I don't know. That's
Y'all making something out of nothing.
Really. I mean, but what we saw.
Maybe he was just rushed because Braun just came out of nowhere, and you always got to carry your stuff with you because you never know what's gonna happen. Got to keep your gimmicks in the bag, boys, because you never know what's gonna happen. And he just kind of threw it on, barely zipped it up so it doesn't fall off. And we can get into it a little bit. I had a bit of a qualm about them dressing up as a Shield.
That's the word. That's the word of the pod, qualm. All right, Stephanie McMahon sends Kurt Angle on vacation. So Stephanie McMahon is being treated by one of the doctors backstage. We'll tell you why in a few moments.
Why don't you just start off with that? Why don't you talk about it in chronological order instead of going by importance? Importance is very subjective. If we just go in order, then we can tell the story of Monday Night Raw.
I mean...
I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job, but I'm just trying to make it...
I mean... The script was written like at 3:30 a.m.
After you went to the bar and you're wasted.
Okay, look. So Ronda Rousey, there's a championship presentation for her on Monday Night Raw. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
By Stephanie McMahon. All the girls are around the ring. They have the championship displayed so beautifully. My girl Alexa Bliss is in a sling, selling the injury like a good wrestler does, and so. Ronda Rousey comes out there and she's like, why are you putting me on a pedestal like I'm above these girls? We're all equal. We're all in this together, And then Stephanie McMahon says, that's no way a champion should act. That's no way a champion should behave. And Ronda just does what Ronda does. Hits her with a nice little toss, puts her in the arm bar. And I don't know if it's broken. We don't know the severity of Stephanie's injury. So Stephanie taps out, obviously. Then later on in the show, she and Alexa Bliss are... in the trainer's room, and then Stephanie McMahon says, Kurt, why didn't you do anything? Why didn't you control her? And then Constable Corbin comes in the picture, and Stephanie McMahon basically says, Kurt, you're going on vacay. Constable Corbin is the acting general manager of Monday Night Raw.
There we go. How hard is that?
A lot.
Let's back it up to the Ronda Rousey trophy championship presentation ceremony. I had a bit of an issue with it because why they never do this with the men. They never do this with the men. They parade all the women out there and have to stand like good little students while Principal Stephanie has to talk to them and talk about how proud she is of all of them, and she takes credit for everything. But she finally like actually says what I feel how Stephanie always feels is she feels that she's responsible for everything in the women's division. And then, Ronda comes out and she has to stand up to the authority, and then all the baby faces come together and they're all one big happy family. And I just feel like because they're women, they just kind of treat them differently. And this isn't the whole point of the women's revolution. They're supposed to treat them the same as the men. They would never do this with the men. And, why didn't Kurt Angle or Triple H have some sort of thing with or Kurt Angle have some sort of thing with Roman Reigns, and they all have all the men stand around there, and then Roman try to bring all the babyface together, and they all say, hooray, look at how strong we are together. We need to be together instead of fighting each other, even though we're wrestlers, and that's the whole point, is to fight each other, prove who's the best.
Actually, no, you have a good point, though, man. Like, Kurt Angle made such a big deal for months and months and months that the Universal title hasn't been on Raw. Actually, I found out it hasn't been defended on Raw since, 2017, January of 2017. So yeah, why didn't he have a celebration for Roman? You did it, you slayed the beast, you got the title back on Monday nights. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I don't know why Kurt Angle didn't do any of that. Yeah, so
I don't want anybody to do it, but I just don't understand why they keep doing this kind of pandering women's empowerment stuff with the women. Obviously, that's what you do. You wouldn't do women empowerment with the men. You do the women empowerment with the women.
Oh, goodness. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so Triple H comes out on Monday Night Raw. He has pretty fiery promo. Talks about NXT, talks about SummerSlam, but then he talks about his match with the Undertaker at the WWE Super Show in Australia. He talks about how the last time they faced off, it was the end of an era. He talks about the famous match with him in the Hell in a Cell with Taker, Shawn Michaels special guest referee, WrestleMania 28, 2012. And then he talks about how his era was pretty badass and how he just went on a tangent about his era. He got all fired up and he said kept talking about taking off the suit, taping up, lacing up his boots, and being the game. He talked about how Vince called him face Taker and he's like, oh no, no. And then he thought about it and then he said, oh yeah, I'll do it if Taker's in. Thoughts on the promo?
I thought this promo was kind of the worst of the Triple H wrestling character because he has so many different characters. He has NXT Triple H, he has Authority Figure Triple H.
Really?
Really?
It was decent.
I mean the worst, as in him putting himself over and making his era. He called it the era, which I think he's probably going to try to coin, kind of like how he tried to coin the reality era, and then when everyone just kind of poo-pooed all over it, he kind of stepped it back. But anyways, I think it's just kind of another sign of Triple H. When it comes down to him being the wrestler Triple H, as much as I love the NXT Triple H and Proud
The
Papa.
creator.
I mean, he even did the little thing of he was like building up NXT. It was like, oh yeah, and SummerSlam was good too, basically. He was like, oh yeah, NXT tore the house down, and SummerSlam they brought it to another level. Yeah,
Brother.
but I mean, it's another Triple H Undertaker match in Melbourne. We saw the match he had with Cena. We saw the Undertaker match with Rusev and all the other stuff we've seen out of these guys in the past few years. I'm not expecting anything special.
The last time ever. I mean, basically what Hunter was doing, he was like, it's the last time ever. We need to give it all we got to like prove to these kids, like to show, basically having the old dogs come out and showing the new kids on the block how it's done.
That's exactly my point, is why does the old dog has to show the new dog how, or the big dog, how to do everything, when I'm pretty sure they got everything under wraps and they know what they're doing. I don't think Triple H needs to show everybody how to run the ropes and how to take a bump. I think the kids got that down. How to tell a story. I think they'll be fine.
A lot of these kids need to relearn how to take bumps and how to tell stories. No way, Jose. But
Wow.
yeah,
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I mean, Hunter versus Taker. I mean, Hunter, he can still put on a nice one. Taker, he's much older now. Several injuries. I don't know.
New hip?
They could surprise us. We don't know. My expectations, they're not high because of what I saw with them do the last time. But they could pull something out. We don't know. We don't know. So I'm willing to give it a chance.
I don't know what kind of chance I'd give it. I'll still watch it.
I'm not
gonna say it's gonna be.
Title might be on the line for it. We don't know.
Just don't get hurt.
Just don't get hurt. Don't go balls to the wall, guys. Protect your era.
They're just gonna hit the big moves and get out of there.
Yes. All right. So Monday Night Raw kicks off with the big dog, Roman Reigns. He's the new Universal Champion. He's walking down to the ring. The crowd chants, "You still suck." And Roman, he basically says, "I'm champ now. Things are gonna change, and I'm gonna give a guy an opportunity who should have got his rematch a long time ago." Calls out Finn Balor, and then Kurt Angle makes the match official. So later on in the show, we have Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. The match was, I really loved it. I did. It was good. They really have great chemistry. They really work well together. Finn lost. Sorry, guys.
Of course.
Finn lost. He got his rematch. You got what you people have been asking for. All right, so Finn lost.
Why didn't he just bring up the demon? Because apparently if he brings up the demon, he just kills everybody.
We can't just have that on free television.
Well,
Wrestling
I mean, it's
on free television?
It's for the
No.
championship.
That's true. That's true.
Maybe his boy, left to go back to Ireland or wherever the person came from.
Yeah.
So he couldn't
But
get the artist.
Earlier on in the show, Braun Strowman went up to Finn Balor and said, "I'm not a coward. I'm letting you know after the match I'm cashing this in." So then Braun makes his way down after Roman defeats Balor, and Roman, he just had a exhausting, grueling match, and Braun attacks him, and he's about to cash it in, and then the Shield music hits, And I'm not gonna lie, I was like, oh! And then Seth and Dean in Shield gear come down, and then the Shield reunites, triple power bomb through the table, and then the Hounds are protecting their boy, his championship in his yard.
Okay, whole lot to unpack there. Let's rewind it and let's go back to the beginning. I'm a Roman Reigns hater over here, but I thought Roman Reigns' promo and his delivery and him kind of carrying himself, I thought it was good. That was a good promo by him. Finn Balor coming out, I thought it was, an exciting start to the show. And then Braun Strowman telling Finn Balor he's going to cash in again because he's a man, even though same exact thing as what happened at SummerSlam. I don't understand. Is he supposed to be the heel in this situation because he says he's going to be fair about it, but yet he basically does the exact same thing everybody else does. They come and cash in after an exhausting match that the champion just had, even though what's the difference of announcing it compared to not announcing it? It's practically the same thing, only, maybe the champion's a little more paranoid that he's going to come out.
Yeah, I don't know. Or what Braun could do is kind of what Cena and Rob Van Dam did with theirs. Be like, at this date...
is it that hard to do that?
At this date and time, Roman Reigns at Hell in the Cell, I'm cashing in against you in a Hell in the Cell match. Something like that. I don't know. This is why Braun didn't need the briefcase. There was no Kevin Owens.
Calm down. That was the one match I got right, so I'm gonna stand on my high horse and say I got that one right on this one.
Okay, I got other matches right.
I got that one right. That was the one. One that we picked differently that I got right. But anyways, back to the match. I thought the match was very good. It picked up late. I think it was because the crowd finally realized, okay, this is the ending sequence. We're gonna stop, no profanity.
BSing.
We're not gonna start BSing, so we're gonna start cheering for Finn. And it got good late. Hey. Obviously, Finn lost. Me and my brother both called the spear from a mile away, and that's what happened. Coup de grace, misses, spear, 1, 2, 3. Big Dog got to go over. Then Braun Strowman comes out, kicks him, almost cashes in. Technically cashes in, kind of, but no bell was rung.
Exactly, the bell didn't ring. Going back to the match real quick. I mean, Vince, he teased me. They teased me, all the sling blades and shotgun drop kicks. I thought, there's no way they're gonna do that. I got suckered in. They got me again. But yeah, keep going.
And then Braun Strowman comes out, and I thought he's gonna do the same thing. Maybe they're gonna actually pull the trigger on this. And then they once again, Vince. I wasn't able to explain this on the SummerSlam thing because I wasn't there, but it's okay. That Vince again with his Jedi mind tricks, just it's kind of like a cat and or a dog. You kind of just throw the toy over there and you make the dog pay attention to that while you got to put the medicine on the dog. Yeah. So the dog's not actually paying attention to the bad thing that's happening, that Roman Reigns still champion, but they're like, oh, look, the Shield came back. Oh, my God. Oh, Braun Strowman's going to cash in, even though Braun didn't cash in. And it's just we're all worked up in a frenzy. And the next thing, the show goes off the air. We're like, oh, Roman's still champion, but the show, yeah. we can't boo him anymore because the show's off the air.
Exactly. He did the same thing at SummerSlam. And going with that, that match was supposed to go 25 minutes. And, during the Superman punch spear sequence, Vince cut all of that out. He's like, let's get this over. He did.
How do you know?
I have sources.
You have sources.
Shout out Ringside News.
If that match was supposed to go 25 minutes
or something
from the beginning, I would have told you straight up you shouldn't do that. I think I even maybe said on the prediction thing that this match just needs to be short, quick, to the point, just get it over with, because the longer it goes, the more chance it has of being a debacle. It almost was a debacle.
It almost was, Vince cut it off soon and quick. Yeah, but Roman Reigns isn't known for long title reigns, so it's okay. He'll have it for a month and a half or 2.5 months, and then he'll be done. So it's okay.
What are you talking about? He's breaking Brock Lesnar's record.
Roman Reigns isn't known for long title reigns. The WWE Championship, his longest reign with it was I don't know, a month and a half or 2.
But now he's finally slayed the beast. He's on a roll now. He's gonna break that 400-day record.
That 504-day reign.
504. Oh boy.
He's gonna go 505.
It's a lot longer than I thought it was.
I know, right?
That's what she said.
Okay. Hey-oh. Zipper sound effect. All right, ladies and gentlemen. SmackDown Live 50-50 booking at its finest. Rusev and Lana defeat Almas and Vega after Almas and Vega defeat Rusev and Lana at SummerSlam on the pre-show.
If they did this finish at SummerSlam, And on SmackDown, that championship would be over here because I would at least tied. And I don't understand why they did it. I kind of understand why they did it because no one watches the pre-show. You're going to have whatever 2 million people watching SmackDown. Even though I get everybody on the show, but come on. You can throw your boy a bone and give the same finish on SummerSlam so I can still be champion.
I have thoughts about the pre-show in general, but that's a different time.
It makes a 5-hour show 7 hours long, which maybe that's another reason why they keep stretching out, because at the end Roman Reigns is going to be in the main event and the crowd's just tired and they really don't care. They're trying to go home.
True. I mean, Aiden English, he gets involved, and then after Rusev and Lana win, he's like, I'm always here for you. I'm always here for you. And then so I guess Rusev kind of shook his head in like a nod of approval. I don't know. We'll see what happens next week. All right, Peyton Royce. She defeats Naomi.
As she did. I'm not saying I was expecting it, but I think there's definitely Vince is much higher on the Iconics right now than Naomi. You have Charlotte on the top mix. You have Asuka, which maybe Asuka might be turning heel.
I forgot all about her.
Exactly. I mean, Naomi, she's just there to be on Total Divas, let's be honest. But Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, I mean, Peyton Royce I think is definitely the better wrestler out of the two, so I think her kind of being the lead and Billie Kay just kind of being in the background, being her annoying little sidekick. It could be fun. I don't know what they're going to do with Charlotte right now. Do they just go straight to Becky? They're going to have the championship rematch next week. So I think they're kind of building up the Iconics maybe right now, possibly for a championship feud down the line.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. It was nice to see Naomi back on TV, I guess. It's interesting to see where this goes. Naomi will probably face Billie Kay next week.
And then she'll win, and then they'll set up a tag match, and then they'll win.
Then a handicap match, and it's just going to keep going in that circle like WWE does.
And then the blow-off will be on a pre-show at Hell in a Cell.
Exactly. All right, Randall Keith Orton. He defeats Jeff Hardy by way of DQ. After Jeff Hardy finally gets his match with Randy Orton, and Jeff Hardy kicks him right in the Viper. Just stomps on the Viper, actually.
That Viper's been in the news lately.
Yes, I heard there's going to be some repercussions. Yeah, but I mean, the match itself, it was decent. Randy Orton doing the same spot where he's pulling Jeff's ear. Actually, I listened to Jeff Hardy on a podcast, and he said that that was legit, and he had to have his other gauge hole stretched to the same length, just so they didn't look different. So, Jesus. Yeah, so after he does that, they just kind of brawl for a little bit outside, and then they get to the out on the floor where all the production equipment is, and Randy Orton's laying on the table. Jeff Hardy stands on some kind of production box, I guess, and
just happens to be set up precisely to where Randy could be on a table and Jeff can jump off of it.
Yes, and then he does the swanton. I got flashbacks to Kofi in the Garden doing that to Orton. I guess Jeff gets his redemption, his retribution.
Yeah, the match was short, sweet. Nothing real happened there until the end. And poor Jeff Hardy, he doesn't learn. He took the nasty swanton on the apron on Sunday.
Oh, my God.
And then he does this thing on Tuesday. Like, Jeff, you talk about you being beat up and hurt, but yet you still be doing this stuff. You're Jeff Hardy.
It's the adrenaline rush, man.
You don't need to be jumping off of high things. Obviously, it's not as high as it used to be. I mean, didn't he jump off the Titantron once to Randy Orton?
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, he's kind of downgrading a little bit. He's not as crazy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we talked about the TLC match with Punk. He's not jumping off ladders or anything like that, even though he did do that
last year.
He did that last year at WrestleMania. So, I mean, he might be saving it for a big occasion.
Put him in a Hell in a Cell match. He just does a swanton off of that. Probably.
I mean,
we don't
Jeff,
know.
slow your roll. There's going to be with Matt in the back.
Yeah, putting together these awesome matches. All right, AJ Styles is interviewed by Renee Young. I love the old 80s Mean Gene setup that they do off to the side. Styles talks about how he's gonna beat up Samoa Joe for the things he said about his family. And Samoa Joe comes out, chokes AJ out, and I forgot, what did Joe exactly say after he chokes out AJ?
Something about Wendy.
Something about Wendy. Or did he say he's never coming home? Or
yeah,
something to that extent. Thoughts on this whole segment?
He said that Daddy can't come home to put you to bed because he's already gone to sleep or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Thoughts on this whole segment?
I thought it was good. Joe just continuing to be a dastardly heel and get it in the face and get into AJ's personal life. I mean, definitely the SummerSlam DQ finish. I thought it was great, even though I picked AJ to win. But I think this definitely prolongs the feud, and I think this is going to be the Hell in a Cell feud.
Yeah. Did you see the Chronicle for Samoa Joe, the WWE Chronicle?
Nope.
It was very good.
And it makes him look like a babyface, doesn't it?
No, I mean, he does it in a way where he's being real but keeping kayfabe at the same time. Like, Samoa Joe's ahead of the game on psychology, man. I'm telling you. I love Samoa Joe, man. I said on the instant analysis of SummerSlam, the way he speaks is so violent but elegant at the same time.
Sometimes he yells a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Sometimes he does.
I like him when he's calm. When he speaks, when he's calm. I like that, Samoa Joe.
I mean, he can have intensity, but he just doesn't have to yell at the top of his lungs all the time.
Yes. All right. Your girl, Becky Lynch.
Mm-hmm. Give me that Becky.
There we go. She turned heel on Charlotte.
Did she? Did she turn heel? Did she?
Look, just because the people cheered her.
Probably biggest pop of the night.
It probably was the biggest pop of the night. I'm not going to lie. That's how you know the people were so behind Becky Lynch that the one you want to be the baby face was getting demolished by Becky Lynch, and Becky was getting cheered. I mean, in this scenario, Charlotte should be the heel because she's the entitled, spoiled brat.
Charlotte is the female Roman Reigns.
I don't know about all that.
Yep. It's not okay. It's not that we hate Charlotte.
I don't hear boos when Charlotte comes out.
It's not that you hear boos when they're face to face with each other. It's not that we hate Charlotte. It's just we love Becky. We love Becky so much more than Charlotte. And this is just Vince and I don't know. Is it like them just being out of touch and just being narrow minded and just be like, okay, we need to have Charlotte and Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. We need to have both of them as big and as popular as we possibly can. And give Becky Lynch a run with the championship. You can do, if you want title for title, if you want Charlotte to hold the championship by the end, you can get around to it. But I think, sometimes WWE doesn't do this as much where they should, ride out a hot trend. There's, wrestlers that I can't think of one off the top of my head, but they're just, they get a pop, they get on a hot run for a couple weeks or a couple months. You're like, we don't have any intentions of going with him, but we'll give him a championship opportunity like Rusev. They had so many different opportunities that they could have put Rusev in the championship match or, been at least a U.S. title holder. And he can just be a hot babyface. But no, they were dead fast on keeping him a heel, and they just said, nope, we have a vision, and we're just going to keep to that vision, and screw you fans. We're just, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I
cut you off. What happened on SmackDown?
What's up?
I get fired up sometimes, especially when it comes to Becky.
Hey, hot takes. All right. Becky.
Straight fire.
Straight fire. Yes, Becky Balboa. They're gonna cheer Becky, man. She's the female Daniel Bryan or even the female Johnny Gargano. We sympathize with her. Her best friend took this amazing opportunity away from her. Why wouldn't she be upset? It just makes sense. So anyway, Becky explains her actions. Charlotte comes down, takes off the championship in her jacket, runs down, they start brawling. And then, of course, the women's locker room has to come out. Some girls got on TV that we haven't seen in a month and a half. And then they break them all up or whatever. It was okay.
The promo itself, it was just kind of evident that the crowd was going to boo Becky. She tried to even turn a little bit on the crowd and make fun of them and say that, you guys were never behind me and blah, blah, blah. There was never this revolution or anything. But then I was on Instagram and the day before SummerSlam, she posted something and was like, oh, thank you guys for all the support. I'm going to go out and win and I'm going to do it for all you and blah, blah, blah. Yep. It's just kind of, you could have ended up deleting that or just whatever. But I think Vince is hoping that this is just a fad and just because it's Brooklyn, it's the smart fans that hopefully, aren't they going to? They're going to Canada next week. I know they're at least going to Canada for Raw, so they're probably going to stay for
your favorite place.
So SmackDown. Hopefully, those Canadians smarten up and they cheer my girl Becky instead of booing her. But I think Vince is hoping that it's just, it's just the SummerSlam crowd. But once we get to, the other smaller markets, we're going to be able to boo. People are going to boo Becky. I think it's going to be. I'm gonna pay attention.
Missouri.
Well, I'm gonna have to pay attention to the house show reports and see if when Becky comes out, does she get cheered? Does she get booed? What happens there?
On Monday's house show, she got cheered for attacking Charlotte again. So it's I don't know, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. Another thing that we learned, Carmella will be getting her rematch for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship next week against Charlotte. Paige made the announcement. R-Truth was involved in the segment. R-Truth is still hilarious. Talked. Paige had to explain to R-Truth, you don't actually pin Carmella to get championship opportunities here, just because Becky and Charlotte did. So I thought that was funny. All right, so this was what kicked off SmackDown Live. You have the Miz and Maryse make their way down the aisle, get into the ring, and the Miz says it's with a heavy heart that I must retire from wrestling Daniel Bryan. I was moved by this. I was.
Just another instance of a heel trying to be sincere, then he pulls a swerve and he's like, "Oh, blah, I hate all you guys." And
Miz is.
I mean, Alexa Bliss does it all the time. Carmella does it all the time. Miz does it. I mean, kudos to Miz. I mean, this is probably the first time a male has done this in a few months.
Miz is just such a great actor that I believed in, and like his eyes were all red. I'm like, oh my god, what's he gonna say? I was truly I was invested, 100%. Shout out to the Miz. So anyway, Daniel Bryan comes out and he talks about how Miz is a coward or whatever, and then Brie Bella makes her way down to the ring and punches Miz in the face, and then so now we know at Hell in the Cell, Miz and Maryse versus Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella mixed tag match. Smart decision. Smart decision.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Brie coming out. I thought it was a nice little return.
Primo.
Yeah, and the lovely song that is Brie Mode.
I love Brie Mode.
Hopefully they just come on to Dana Bryan's music. Hopefully.
Yep, she's gonna wear his WrestleMania 30 kick pads.
Probably. But I thought it was a nice setup. I think it's going to be a nice feud going back and forth. Maybe they try to go the Nikki Bella, John Cena route where they try to get personal and try to do, maybe we'll see an episode of Total Bellas again.
Total Bella skits. That's gonna be fun. I can't wait for that.
But we only have like 3 more weeks, so they got to get moving on it if they're going to do.
They got to.
If they're going to do a skit.
Film like multiple ones, play them at different points during SmackDown. Have you seen the stuff going around like the match we're getting is like those guys, but like the match we want, Brie, Bryan, and Birdie versus Monroe, Miz, and Maryse.
We're going to have to wait like 20 years for that.
I know, yeah. I kind of laughed at that. I was like, haha. Yeah, so I mean, this is going to be interesting, and then plus, Daniel Bryan and The Miz are going to go at it at the Australia show for a WWE Championship opportunity. I'm calling it right now, way ahead of time. I think Miz beats Daniel Bryan there too. Like, you have to keep having Daniel Bryan lose to The Miz until I'm still believe it's going to happen at WrestleMania. I still believe we're getting that match at WrestleMania.
I would much rather have Daniel Bryan be having a championship match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, so you're saying Miz versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship?
Yes. Look, Daniel Bryan wins the Royal Rumble, and then he gets his opportunity against the WWE Champion, The Miz.
So you're gonna lengthen this out for another 8 months or whatever.
I feel like we can get there. Look, Miz beats Bryan again, gets the WWE Championship opportunity. I think the WWE title is going to be on the line at episode 1000 or 1000 of SmackDown. He wins it there, beats AJ for it, and then he just goes on this run, gets the run that he feels like he should have had all those years ago. Daniel finally wins the Royal Rumble, and then I feel like they can do it, man. I know we give WWE a lot of crap for the booking as of late, as of the last couple of months and even the last couple of years, but I feel like with guys like Daniel Bryan and The Miz can tell an amazing narrative. Daniel Bryan, he's so sympathetic. We all love him. I feel like those guys can strengthen this out to WrestleMania. I believe it.
I mean, if it's a good story, I'm not gonna poo-poo it. I think obviously you're gonna have Daniel Bryan, but then the issue is like, yeah, Daniel Bryan loses again. I mean, I think I'm gonna say that Brie and Daniel are gonna win the mixed tag match. I say they should win.
I say Brie pins Maryse, that way Miz isn't really hurt by it.
I mean, and they can always have the excuse of Maryse just had a kid.
Exactly. There we go. Exactly. They'll probably be like, "Oh, we were thinking about Monroe. That's why our heads weren't really in the match." There's a whole lot of routes you can go with this. So
they left Monroe with Maryse's mom.
Yes.
That can get your mind racing a little bit.
That can get your mind racing a little bit if you've seen Miz and Mrs. All right. So number 1, the New Day, the Day of New. They win the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. They are 5-time Tag Team Champions in WWE.
Yeah, it's a shock to me, but obviously now that the news came out of Eric Rowan's torn bicep, it makes sense. Shout out to Eric Rowan put it on that match with a torn bicep. I mean, he he like ran through a barricade with a mallet,
Triple H finished the match with a torn quad.
barely,
Barely.
and was put in the walls of Jericho.
Exactly. Triple H is a tough SOB. Not like Eric
And
Rowan.
it's always got to come back to Triple H.
It does always have to come back to Triple
Because
H.
he's the god of wrestling.
He is, man. He's the creator.
Anyway, I thought it was a good match. They beat down New Day for a long time, and then New Day finally pulls it out in the end. I thought it was a nice little whatever story that they had of Big E not being in the match because he got attacked on Sunday. So then it was Kofi and Xavier. So that's kind of the B team, to be honest, because Xavier is not in the big matches.
Oh yeah, Big E was eating ribs or something. I don't know what was going on.
So I don't know if it's sanitary. I really hope they don't come out with ribs now and start pouring. I mean, especially vegans and vegetarians. I don't
Yeah.
think you want to be pouring meat on people.
I hope they don't pour meat on people. Stick to the pancakes. Stick to the pancakes.
Keep it gluten free and keep everybody happy.
Yes. No, but seriously, shout out to the New Day, man. They're once again. So probably what the Bars next, or maybe even the Good Brothers.
Yeah, we saw a little backstage segment with them. Nice to see the Good Brothers finally back on TV.
Carl Abson and
Carl Anderson showing off the abskis.
the Abskis, bro. Yes. It's gonna be interesting to see where they go. Plus the Usos are there. Sanity if they ever want to do something with them. So it's all gonna play out. All right, Superstar Spotlight. Who do we got? Who do we got? Who do we got?
I'm going to go with the Superstar Spotlight of someone who wasn't even on SmackDown or Raw or SummerSlam, but he was on NXT. He didn't even have a match on NXT, and that would be Sir Matthew Riddle, who was shown in the crowd during NXT TakeOver. Matt Riddle is coming to NXT. We've all been talking about it, but it's finally going to happen. Matt Riddle, he's going to be a star. Guarantee
Be a star.
it. He is going to be,
star,
if everything
bro.
works out, as long as he, like smokes, if he stops smoking weed and he just doesn't get popped for it, I think Matt Riddle could be great.
Congratulations, Matt Riddle. Me, I'll go Adam Cole.
Oh, but he lost. I successfully defended at NXT, but if we put NXT,
I win at the big shows.
If we
That's
put
all that
NXT
matters.
and SummerSlam together as we normally would do, but no. Anyways, it's okay. I successfully defended NXT, so I kept my
God.
good name as the person who reviews all the NXT shows. Even though I did get Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler wrong.
Hey man,
I'll look past that one.
That match made me uncomfortable. The way Baszler was twisting her foot, I felt very uncomfortable. But yeah, Adam Cole, his performance going up against Ricochet. Ricochet's going for that springboard move or whatever, and then
Springboard moonsault super kick right in the face.
yes, that GIF is like one of my new favorite GIFs. I loved all of that. So yeah, I go Adam Cole. All right, tell us about our. Actually, no, I did the promo pick of the week. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was looking way ahead. Promo pick of the week: Bobby Roode basked in his greatest accomplishment, retiring Sting. This is when Bobby Roode was the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. This is 2012. Yeah. So Bobby Roode talks about how he's retired Sting and basically how he's beaten all the guys. Sting's beaten names like Vader and Harley Race and all those guys. And he said Sting's going to be here later on today to talk about his retirement and say goodbye to you people. This was when Bobby Roode was personally at his best. The heel, the rich guy, all the nice suits, talking down to people. Bring that Bobby Roode back. He doesn't need to be glorious anymore. Alright? This Bobby Roode was off the chain, just like the TNA theme song. Thoughts, comments, concerns, questions, answers?
Bobby Roode's been swimming in the lower mid card on Raw. I don't know if you can turn him heel and he can make him into this type of character, and he can maybe, bring him up to the upper mid card of Raw. But he's old. I think he's like 40 or almost 40 up to this point.
He's like 40.
So not much time for Bobby Roode to bump up his pay. If you know what I mean.
You got probably like 4 or 5 more years.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Anyways,
All right. Tell us about our closing match pick of the week there, Brandon.
so our closing match pick of the week is a SummerSlam match. Of course, probably the last week we'll do a SummerSlam pick. And it's a triple threat match from SummerSlam 1999. We have Stone Cold Steve Austin, the champion, going up against Triple H and Mankind. And we have the special guest referee of Jesse the Body Ventura, who I believe was still acting governor of Minnesota at the moment. I mean, I don't know if he was actually governor of Minnesota at the moment, but just a whole bunch of shenanigans. It was fun. Stone Cold talks about on his podcast one of his most infinite botches where he like trips over the rope and he gets his head caught, and then Jesse has to like come, or Triple H has to come help him. And then and there's also like the political games that happen to where like Mankind wins a championship, but then he loses it the day after on Raw, and then Triple H wins the championship. So why didn't just Triple H win the championship on Raw and blah, blah. It's a whole bunch of shenanigans.
Yeah, that's what this match is really known for, like the Chang foolery after, in which Mankind loses it to Hunter. I think Hunter talked about this on Thy Kingdom Come documentary on the WWE Network. Go check it out. It's very good. He thought like it was his time. He's gonna win the title. Then Mick Foley wins, and he's like, really? But then he wins it the night after, so it's, I guess.
Maybe it's Stone Cold, maybe playing some political games. Not Stone Cold isn't known for the games until after later in his career when he takes his ball and goes home. Maybe he was looking farther down the line and he was like, okay, maybe Stone Cold and Triple H, we can have like a big WrestleMania match down the line, and maybe we don't want to have Triple H beat me at the moment. Something I don't know what was going through his mind, but I think Stone Cold definitely was paranoid up until that point. He had his neck issues, that's why he was leaving. Yes. So I think he kind of knew that people were kind of on his tail.
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, follow us on Twitter at what? At BulletCast. I don't know. I almost said oh my god. I'm all over the place. Follow us on Twitter at BulletCast, Instagram The BulletCast, YouTube channel The BulletCast. Email us questions for the fan mail segment. BulletCast2 is in the number 2, sweetsweet@gmail.com. We are on 99.9 FM KDub in Watsonville. Thank you guys for that. We're on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play. And remember, we're looking for another person. I enjoy the 3-person dynamic, the 3-man booth.
We're supposed to have somebody today, but they no-showed.
Exactly. If you live in the Bay Area, man or woman, doesn't matter, and you love professional wrestling.
Dog, it don't matter.
It doesn't matter. DM us on...
Unless you're the big dog. No big dogs.
DM us on Twitter at BulletCast. DM us on Instagram, The BulletCast. Email us, BulletCast2 is the number 2, sweetswet@gmail.com. I'm speaking way too fast. And you never know, you could have an opportunity to this bad boy. Have an opportunity to become BulletCast champion, or maybe even the trivia championship. The trivia championship that I might add. We don't know.
I was wondering, I know you haven't talked about this in a while, but you are also technically the Money in the Bank briefcase holder. So I was wondering if you just want to, give it over to your boy, or if you want to put the Money in the Bank briefcase on the line, possibly.
No, why would I do that? Because ladies,
if you're all in,
I am all in.
Maybe you put the briefcase on the line.
That brings me to my next announcement, ladies and gentlemen. The BulletCast championship is on the line for All In.
Oh, shortest championship reign of all time.
I don't know, man.
Right now.
Look, you held it for your last reign was 63 days. That was a good reign. That was good.
It's a Roman Reigns reign.
My first reign was 140. I'm not basking in any glory besides my own.
You were co-champion with that other guy for a little bit.
That's true. I was co-champion. But ladies and gentlemen, look, I'm all in for Cody and the Bucks in this show, so the championship will be too. This has been the BulletCast. Any closing remarks?
I mean, if you want, you could just hand over the Money in the Bank briefcase. I can, cash it in maybe down the line at like a New Japan show or, whatever. Nah, maybe when Tanahashi puts his briefcase on the line, maybe we put the briefcase on the line.
I don't know about all that. I got a lot of weight in the bag right now. I'm feeling pretty good.
I mean, I've been doing my deadlifts. My back's feeling good. I can carry.
You can carry all this weight?
I can carry a little bit of weight.
I don't know.
I can carry that 10 pounds of aluminum or whatever it is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the BulletCast. We'll see you next time.
This has been the BulletCast. Thank you for listening.